Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on theming and branding your app experiences with Reveal. My name is Jason Barris. I'm a Senior VP here at Infragistics, and along with me today is Casey McGuigan, our product owner and product manager for Reveal. We've both been with the product since its inception, so if you have any questions today, please use the chat, and we will answer all of your questions. A little bit about Infragistics. We were founded in 1989. We're a gold certified partner with Microsoft, a partner with Google and Apple. Our developer community is quite large. Our biggest products are developer products, and Reveal kind of fits into that mold as an SDK for business intelligence for developers. We shipped Reveal in 2019, and its predecessor, Report Plus, we shipped in 2015. So the product's about 8-9 years old, has a significant number of users, and our goal is to deliver a beautiful self-service BI experience that you can embed into your own application. So today, we're going to get a quick overview of the Reveal SDK. This is not a comprehensive view of what Reveal offers. There was a video in one of the emails for this webinar that we recommended you watch if you aren't familiar with what Reveal offers. But after a little overview of the SDK, we'll look at the theming and branding options, the UX customization options, and then we'll jump into a demo. A little bit of housekeeping. Yes, links to the code, recording, and slide deck will be sent in a follow-up email this week. As I mentioned, please ask questions in the chat. And of course, you can get all of the code today. You'll see the URLs as I'm going through the demos. So the SDK overview. So Reveal has two pieces, a client and a server piece. So the client piece is purely a JavaScript library that you add into your application. So the JavaScript library will work with Angular, React, Vue, web components. It really doesn't matter what framework you're using because it is just JavaScript. It basically works everywhere. The nice thing is all of the capabilities for self-service BI are built into that JavaScript library. So not only can you view dashboards, but you can edit dashboards as well. And through the SDK, you can set properties on what you want the end user to experience. So maybe they're not allowed to edit. Maybe they're not allowed to export. You have control over that experience in the application. Reveal is localized to 13 languages, so based on where you're located or where you're going to deploy your application, we mostly have you covered there. And you're going to see today all of the built-in themes and how to do some of that end-user customization. On the server side, we have a .NET Core server, a Java server, and a Node server. So depending on what your backend is, you can just add these packages into your server applications, and that gives you the ability to authorize against data sources, authenticate. We have a data layer, which based on your data source, you're querying your backend to pass through the Reveal libraries to get to the client. So there's a few things that the server does. The nice thing is it gives you complete control over any server interaction, which means saving, save as, credentials, etc. We're not going to go a lot into the server today, but we have videos up on YouTube on how to configure the server and how to set the server up. It's very simple and straightforward. So theming and branding options. Reveal ships with 4 built-in themes. You're going to see today how to easily switch between these themes. We also have theme properties that you can set, which control the colors of individual visualizations or the entire dashboard. So if you don't like our built-in themes, you can always customize areas of that theme yourself. You might want to create a brand new theme or clone an existing theme and then just change maybe the font or the background color of the dashboard. You can also do things right down to rounded or square corners, which are really nice. So for example, since this is an SDK, it's embedding inside of your application might have square edges everywhere. Well, Reveal by default has rounded corners on every dialog. By setting that property to use rounded corners equals true or false, you can customize how that looks and fits into your app. And then being able to customize the series color or the category color on a chart. There's an API for that as well, which you are going to see in action today. So when we look at the UX customization, very simple to enable or disable features on the Reveal view. So the Reveal view is really just a div in your page. And that div is where you are activating, let's say, the reveal library, the client-side library. And with that, you get customization. Obviously, we just talked about theming and branding, but all of the other UX options that you have. I have the list here of what you can change when you are customizing this in code, but you can see a simple example here in Visual Studio Code along with a list. And we'll look at a couple of these today and see just how easy it is to go back and forth and add some of these. So with that, let's get right into a demo, and then we'll finish up the slides in a minute. The first thing I want to start with is the Reveal BI homepage. This is at revealbi.io. If you go to revealbi.io and you go over to resources, there's a bunch of different resources on getting started, different blogs, white papers, customer stories, etc. If we go over to the help dropdown, we go into help.revealbi.io. Of course, there's rich documentation for all of the different platforms that we support, but I want to jump over to the Developer Playground. The Developer Playground is a simple experience that lets you see how the APIs work and kind of shows you very quickly how maybe changing a font or a theme would look in your application. So I'm going to go over down to themes on the lower left, and you can see that a dashboard loaded here on the bottom, and I have the code for that dashboard here up on the top. You'll note that I have a property on the Reveal SDK settings called Theme, and I'm setting the theme to the Mountain Dark theme. What this does is for any dashboard that loads subsequently into a Reveal view, I will use the Mountain Dark theme. So this is what the Mountain Dark theme looks like. If I want to change this to Mountain Light to see how it looks, we can just go Mountain Light theme, and I will run this, and the dashboard will refresh into Mountain Light. The other two built-in themes are Ocean Light and Ocean Dark. So if I change this to Ocean and I run, you can see it looks a little bit different, sort of like the ocean colors, kind of nice and beautiful. And if we go to Ocean Dark, you'll see the change here as well. So there's our Ocean Dark theme. So while I'm here inside of this editor, you can see that not only does the background color change of the visualization area, but you have a dashboard background color back here, which is a little darker. And then the series colors on the charts are changing as well. So in this case, if I go into a chart and I change which chart view I'm looking at, you'll see that those colors carry through no matter what for this series. When you're in edit mode for a chart and you go over to the settings, you'll see that you have a start color for the chart. So you can always change the color of the visualization based on whatever you want. Like you might always want the sales chart to be orange, and it can always be orange. I'm going to show you a little bit of code which will take, for example, the particular category or item in a chart and change the color there. So if I change this to like this color and I check the box and I put this back down here, you can see that it changes a little bit as well. And if I check the box, it'll obviously save. If you have an application that maybe has a selector or a settings which or lets the end user actually change the themes at runtime, we have a refresh theme option. So when I set the theme, I set it on my Reveal SDK settings, and then I just loaded that into the dashboard. From here on out, everyone will get this theme. On refresh theme, it means that I loaded the dashboard, for example, and I want to change the theme afterwards. That's when you would call refresh theme, and it just refreshes the theme, and then that theme will be used after. Now, if we want to clone an existing theme, so let's say, for example, you like some characteristics of a theme. Maybe you like the font, maybe you like the chart colors. You don't want to change everything about it. So we have the concept of cloning a theme. So in this case, before I load my dashboard, I'm saying Reveal SDK settings theme should be clone current theme. Well, in this case, what is clone current theme doing? It's going to change a few properties on my theme: font color, accent color, dashboard background color, and visualization background color, and then also the theme chart colors. And then I'm going to return this new theme. So you can see I went a little crazy here, and I have a yellow background for the dashboard. The visualizations are gray. The font and the font name stay the same, but the chart colors are different. So I've got this reddish looking chart color, and then a blue and a red chart color here. So it just looks a little bit different. And in this case, I want to clone the theme. So I want to take some characteristics of that theme, persist them, and then carry them forward. In this case, if I comment out the chart colors, so let's just comment out chart colors, and we will comment out font color, and I run this, it will use the default chart colors and font colors from the default theme. And in this case, it was, I believe, a Mountain Light. So what if I want to create a brand new theme, like a custom theme? Same concept. On the Reveal SDK settings, I'm going to call Create Custom Theme. Now, in this case, I'm changing everything about the theme. I don't want to use any current theme as a base. I'm creating a new instance of a Reveal theme, and then I'm going to set the font color, accent color, background color, visualization background color, everything right down to the fonts. You can see this isn't a very attractive dashboard, but the idea is to get the point across that the branding experience can be whatever you want. And earlier I mentioned rounded versus square corners. In this case, if I say theme.use rounded corners equals false, what that's going to do is take the rounded edges here and make them square, right down to everything like a button and a dialogue, etc. So now you'll notice everything is square. Every dialogue, every drop down. If I go into edit mode, you can see that edit mode is square. So again, not a beautiful looking dashboard. The point is to show that you can customize this any which way that you would like. Now, where do you find these samples if you want to get an entire view of this? As I mentioned, over on GitHub, we have the SDK samples JavaScript repo, and there's a theming dashboards folder in it. So if I scroll down, you can see that we've got a selector here with different theme options, and the code is very similar to what we just looked at in the developer playground. I happen to have this over here in Visual Studio Code. So I've got my themes.html. Let me right click on this and open this up in the default browser. And you'll see that this is the default Mountain Light theme. If I change this to Mountain Dark, we have nice, beautiful Mountain Dark, Ocean Dark. Clone the existing theme similar to what we did in the playground, and then the crazy custom theme. So if you want to see how all of that gets tied together, it's up in the SDK samples, a JavaScript library. And now finally, I want to show you how you can change a specific aspect of a visualization. So here, if I look at my alerts demo, I have some incoming alerts based on some data thresholds. And you can see that I have my very high alerts are red and my low alerts are green. Green is good. And then everything else is sort of grayed out. Well, how does that actually work? So if we go back to Visual Studio and we look at our load dashboard option, we have a on visualization series color assigning event. And this happens immediately after I load my dashboard. So I'm loading in my dashboard. So in this case, it's my alerts color demo. That's loading into the reveal view. I have a bunch of different customizations commented out. We'll get to those in a second. But we have some properties that you can use for this. So for example, I've got visualization, default color, field name, category name, and then those are sort of splatted out into my console. So you can learn what is actually coming across, so then you can customize it yourself. And in this case, I'm saying if the visualization title is alerts and the category name is low, return green. If the category name is very high, return red. Else use light gray for each individual category. So if I go back to alerts, how would you know what to do here? We will go into edit mode. I'm going to edit this visualization. So now I'm in the visualization editor. This is my data. These are my fields here. And I've got a severity, and I've got a value, and then I've got a category. So without category, let me drag this off. You can see that everything ends up being gray because we're not loading up the category property. If I look at this as a grid, you can see I have all my highs and all my values in this case. I'm going to go back to a stacked column. So I've got all of my data here, and you'll see that it just shows the value, which is right here. But I want to actually show each one of these guys inside of my legend. So I'll grab my severity, I'm going to add it as a category, and there it triggers my colors on visualization series changing. In this case, high, low, medium, null, very high, they're in the wrong order. Well, coming along with my data as well, I have a sort key. So I can go and I can sort my severity based on my sort key. So I'll update that field, and now null, low, medium, high, very high, it's in the right order. This is simply 1, 2, 3, 4, the order that it should be in. And then severity, I can do the same thing. I can sort ascending and sort by my sort key, update the field, and now my legend and my x-axis are matching, and this dashboard looks beautiful, and it's exactly what I want. So not only can I customize what the entire dashboard looks like, I can customize what this experience looks like as well. And I'll click save and check, and now I have a visualization here in my dashboard. And then finally, if we go back to Visual Studio Code, you can see I have a few things commented out here, but let's go ahead and uncomment can edit. So I'm going to say can edit equals false, which means that I can't do anything in this visualization except really view it. So if I save this, view it in the browser, you'll notice in my overflow there is no edit option. I can only refresh, export, save as, and that's it. So all of those properties that I showed you, which are available in the help and also in the slide deck, you can completely customize what that experience and interaction looks like for the end user. So what did you just see? We saw the developer playground, which really gives you a place to exercise the API wherever you would like. You saw where to find more samples in Samples SDK JavaScript. We also looked at loading different types of visualizations with different themes based on the theme setting off of IG Reveal SDK settings. And then you learn how to set an individual category or series color in a visualization. So there you have it. Hopefully you can see through some simple properties and basic configuration of your client, it's very easy to deliver that beautiful branded experience in your applications as an embedded SDK. I think there's 3 reasons why Reveal is the only choice for embedded BI in your app. Number 1, you saw simple and beautiful dashboards today. It was very easy to not only customize your application, but the dashboards are going to look beautiful as well. It's easy to embed with hardly any code. Hopefully you saw that it's only a couple lines of code to get that Reveal dashboard loaded in your app. And then the customization is where you're just configuring with properties. Even doing styling is very simple. And then to drive a data-driven culture in your company or in your customers' companies, you need to empower that self-service experience in your application. Reveal achieves all of this with hardly any code and a beautiful experience at a really great price. So I want to thank everyone today, and I want to thank Casey as well for being online and helping with the Q&A. We do webinars once a month, but up on YouTube, on the Reveal YouTube site, there's tons of videos on how to get started with Reveal. And as I showed you on GitHub, there are a ton of examples of how you can get started as well. So I want to thank everyone again today for your time. I know everyone's busy, and we will see you at the next webinar.